Welcome everyone to our webinar presentation of the project Reeplai, Leaders of Europe Play, Learn and Interact. My name is Martina De Gennaro and I will be moderating today's session. Today, we are very happy to gather all parties for the official launch of this initiative, which is co-funded by European Union through the Creative Europe program and led by Centro di Studi Storico-Letterari Natalino Sapegno as coordinator of the project, and as partners, we have Câmara Municipal de Óbidos in Portugal, the Ukrainian Association of Culturologists of Lviv, Lviv Municipal Library, and Fondazione Sant'Agata per l'Economia della Cultura, in association with the municipality of Morges. This online meeting marks the public beginning of our collaboration and our journey together to promote reading, literature, and culture across Europe. Before the partners introduce themselves and discuss their role in the project, I would like to very briefly outline the vision behind this initiative. Reeplai was born out of a dual and interconnected vision. Firstly, to promote reading and culture among younger generations, and secondly, the project intends to promote the dissemination and give visibility to lesser known literary cultures across Europe, especially in the partner countries, so Ukraine, Portugal, and Italy. Later in this session, each of the partners will expand on how they will contribute to the project. But before we do, I would like to offer a brief overview of the specific objectives of the project and some of the concrete outcomes that we expect from this initiative. So the first objective is to contribute to enhancing the reading habits of adults and children. And the second specific objective is to enhance the capacity of teachers, educators, cultural mediators, pedagogists, operators of cultural associations to promote reading as a means for self-growth, interaction, dialogue, and community activation. In other words, and more concrete terms, the project is expected to produce the selection of literary works from the Ukrainian, Italian, and Portuguese tradition to enable younger generations to rediscover their own stories alongside those of other European literary cultures. The creation of inclusive reading parks in Ukraine and Portugal, learning from the experience of the one that was created in Morges, Il Parco della Lettura, and then the development of literary quests based on books from the Ukrainian, Portuguese, and Italian literature, drawing upon good practices from the partners, and which we will further explore later in this session. I now want to give the word to our partners who will have the chance to introduce themselves and share the activities and cultural practices that they have already worked on and their contribution to the project. I would like to start by welcoming Giulia Radini from Fondazione Sapegno. Giulia, would you like to introduce us, Fondazione Sapegno, tell us more about Il Parco della Lettura?
Of course, Martina, with great pleasure. The Sapegno Foundation is based in the castle of Morges, a little town in the Italian Alps, very close to France. We house around 80,000 books, especially literary texts and comics, and we work since 1992 to promote literary studies at an academic level, but also among school teachers and students, encouraging opportunities for reading and study. In 2015, we chose to commit our energies with the municipality of Morges in a demanding and innovative project, which made it possible to create the first reading park. In Italy, readers and in general people who enjoy cultural opportunities like museums, libraries, theaters, etc., are a minority compared to the general public. And unfortunately, access to culture still depends a lot on the habits and wealth of families and on the area in which one lives. Hence, we wanted to create a different kind of cultural space, open, free, and easily accessible to all by promoting a playful and shared approach to the great masterpieces of children's literature. So we imagined a space where you can play with words, create stories, enrich your lexical and linguistic skills, isolate in a corner to read in peace, but also take part in shared events and get closer to the great and fascinating world of books, which are an incredible vehicle of knowledge and meeting. Because books help us to become more aware and open to differences and nuances. We have seen that our idea is working because families and scholar groups, which are our main target, come into the park and are very involved in our games. So we wished to make this concept available so that other communities can build places of conversation and dialogue like this. This is why we imagined a new European project. We name it Reeplai, an acronym for Readers of Europe Play, Learn and Interact, which underlines the actions we wish to achieve in our two-year collaboration. And we are very excited to begin this journey now with 2 UNESCO Creative Cities of Literature, because we want to continue to grow and improve. And we are sure that our partner will pass on many ideas and best practices to us.
Thank you very much, Julia, for your introduction to Fondazione Sapegno, to Parco della Lettura, which we had the amazing opportunity to explore yesterday as part of our kickoff activities, and which we will later discuss more later in the webinar. Similar initiatives are anticipated to take place in Lviv and Obidosh, cities which have amazing track records in promoting reading, literature, and culture, and a wide array of best practices in this area. Their dedication has been recognized and rewarded by the Creative Cities Network of UNESCO, as they have both attained the title of UNESCO Creative City of Literature. Both Lviv and Obidosh have demonstrated their commitment to literature by nurturing a vibrant literary scene, enhancing the quality, quantity, and diversity of publications, and implementing educational programs at various levels of schooling. Now, I would like to invite Paolo Capigna from the Camera Municipal de Obidosh to introduce what they do and
Good morning, everyone. I am Paulo Capinha from Obidosh. I'm representing the municipality, but also with me it's Margarida Reis, the Councillor of Culture, Education, Sports and Health. Basically, Obidosh, for you to know, it's a small territory on the western coast of Portugal, 85 kilometers north of Lisbon. The municipality is responsible for defining development strategies, growth plans and action projects in all different areas in order to provide best services to its almost 12,000 citizens regarding the future of unity, equality, justice, creativity, and empowerment. It is a territory widely and increasingly chosen for tourism, both historical, cultural, or of nature, having more than 3 million visitors per year. Since 2015, it has been UNESCO Creative City of Literature, working for and believing that the literate population becomes more informed, more creative, and more capable, and therefore a better population. Being so, we have developed several activities devoted to promoting literature and reading. Specifically, and most specifically, I will talk about Folio, the International Literary Festival, that inside its various dimensions, we will focus on authors, education, and illustration. In Folio Authors, we bring authors of children and youth literature that visit schools and develop different activities and creative activities. On Folio Education, we have several education seminars, workshops, lectures at schools about reading, creating, the risks of education, etc. Folio Illustration, we have workshops, prizes, contests on creativity for youngsters and at schools. We have a new project, it's Restlessness Van, that goes to schools and elderly centers, taking books, reading games, and with the book of the month, and we do this all year, so Folio goes along all year. We have a smaller literary festival, it's Latitudes. It's about travel and travelers' literature as a way of getting to know the world through books, but also, and most importantly, to know and to present one's territory, artists, culture, and traditions. We have the public libraries network based on Casa Saramago, the municipal library, with a library reading club, tales evenings for families. We have also the Little Free Libraries Network. We have 4 mini libraries across the territory. And then we have schools. We work a lot. We have the school libraries with reading sessions, storytelling, that it's a project where the school students go to the kindergartens and elderly centers and they tell stories. Reading weeks, we have reading and poetry battles. We have an intermunicipal reading contest where the final award is, the final prize is awarded at Folio. We have creative workshops about storytelling, theater, dance. We work a lot with the PNL, it's the National Reading Plan. And we have exchange program with Brazil and recently with Mozambique. It's called Schools That Embrace Each Other. Also, we have a project in different perspectives. It's Bosque Literário or Literary Forest. It's some of our colleagues that go to schools and to elderly centers and they take reading, storytelling and performative project with music and dance. Worked specifically on traditional Portuguese tales. Also with art and literature, clay, art and men's craft, etc. Bosque Literário, Literary Forest, sorry, will be or will want to be also a future literary park on the hill of the castle. We have interest on implementing the Reeplai project because we believe that books are unique cultural objects and constitute an enrichment for all those who have access to them. Furthermore, books serve to develop broader public awareness of heritage and values, promoting understanding, tolerance, dialogue, and peace. The commitment to promote books and literature, storytelling, and encouraging reading habits ends up by complementing and enhancing education processes, contributing to the eradication of illiteracy and therefore poverty. Being so, Ovid's strategy on culture and literature as its starting point on evolving and embracing its local schools and communities, then gradually spreading to neighboring ones, following to a national scope, international interactions and participations. Having thousands and thousands of visitors all year round, Ovidus wants to give yet more visibility and work with literature, reading, and new cultural projects, not only with its local population and communities, but also with and for its visitors. As said before, the good practices for promoting reading among youth that we think we will be transferring to partners during Reeplai will be literary festivals, in particular Folio, with education, illustration, and authors, schools reading and creating activities, library sessions, reading tales, literary forest, the artist project and the literary park, and the exchange program, schools that embrace each other. For us, it is important to promote works of literature and of children's literature written by authors from less diffused European languages, so that there is diversity of opinions and perspectives, so that the culture of each country that altogether forms European culture is not lost, and so that through knowledge of minority or smaller scale cultures, territorial cohesion, tolerance, and acceptance of difference can be promoted, thus contributing to peace and interaction between people and nations, as we are doing here.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for your contribution. I would like now to pass the word to Katia Alexeyenko from Lviv Municipal Library, who has over the years conducted projects and initiatives that have generated significant social impact both locally and beyond. Katia, would you please introduce the Lviv Municipal Library, its mission, and some of the activities you've been involved in?
Hello, nice to meet you. And I'm happy to be here, and I'm very glad to have this possibilities to present our activities. And Lviv Municipal Library is a huge system. There are 49 branches libraries, and our book stock is over 1 million volumes, and we are located in Lviv, and our branches is located near Lviv, and town near Lviv, and villages near Lviv. And right now I want to speak about our main priorities in last 2 years. As you can see, it's a bibliotherapy, inclusion, volunteer hubs. When the full-scale invasion of Russia started, Lviv hosted more than 200,000 Ukrainians, unfortunately internally displaced people. And of course, we focused on their needs. As you can see on this slide, it's a photo of masterclass with our Ukrainians, internally displaced people. We tried, even right now, make soft and comfortable space in our Lviv for them. And we are still working towards our victories. And this next. As you can see on this slide, we like small factories, I mean, on our libraries, and we product different supplies for our army for their needs. I mean, this is this crafty thing. It's the candles for our soldiers and frontline. That's why we our library system works as humanitarian hub and volunteer hub. Next, please. And of course, very important to implement different inclusion projects. Before even full-scale invasion, we started so many projects to make comfortable, make life comfortable for everyone, make inclusion and safe space for everyone, especially our one branch libraries in Sapegno. It focuses on people with vision disabilities, and as you can see, the space of this library, but it's not just about people with vision disabilities, it's about everyone. We are so happy to get these possibilities for everyone because library is the one of the most safest inclusion space in the world. And next, please. How I said before, we provide and create a different kind of products to implement inclusion in our usual life. And as you can see, it's a guide. We created, our team, library team creates this recommendation for social media, for our city council, for different organizations who use social media to inform everyone, to inform their incorrect way, that it can be reached by people with vision disabilities. And to sum up, we are so happy to be part of this project. And of course, I mentioned just the main projects which we do. We are a huge system, and we are happy to be here and to have this experience. And I hope we're so excited. We're so excited to be like this huge network system and to build in future reading park. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katarina, for this introduction. Now I would like to extend the floor to Bogdana Brindinska and Olena Muzinka from the Ukrainian Association of Culturologists, which has over the years made significant contributions to the promotion of Ukrainian literature and culture, including their instrumental role as co-authors of Lviv's candidature for the title of UNESCO Creative City of Literature. Would you please introduce us to the Ukrainian Association of Culturologists?
So hello everyone, we are very happy to be here, and we will start to explain who is the Ukrainian Association of the Culturologists Lviv, because it is an organization that was created in 2013. Next slide, please. And we were created near of the Department of the Culture Studies in the Lviv National University. So it was firstly the educational initiative which grew into the organization which works with the mediation, analysis, organizational and promotional activities connected to the different culture initiatives in Lviv. And also the core of this organization was connected to the initiative of Lviv becoming the UNESCO City of Literature. me and all how we're managing the application process. And in 2015, we were designated as a first Ukrainian city, which became the creative city of UNESCO. When we started to work in a different cross-sectoral projects, our organization, we decided to work also with the inclusion and also with educational projects for the cultural specialists. So we have a few projects which we want to talk about. The ration project is the last one. We worked with activists from the inner displaced people who moved to Lviv because of the war. And we created a whole program to help them to participate in the activities in the city and to connect to the local activists from Lviv. The other project is the case of Roman in Garden, which was created to tell more about the heritage of the literature, of the philosophical and literature heritage of Roman in Garden, who was born and lived in Lviv, the philosopher of the phenomenological direction. And the last but not least, what I want to talk about is the supporting of the UNESCO City of Literature office, because it's one of the parts that we are working very systematically with. It's, if I can have the next slide, because there will be beautiful pictures. Because the last 2 years was very heavy for the culture sector to find the money for the projects. So generally, we are now one of the NGOs who helps to support the different kind of initiatives, and one of them is the UNESCO City of Literature. We supported the program which is called Young City Reads, when we especially the translation into the other languages. So we are like a mediators between the UNESCO City of Literature and the international organization who can support their initiatives. And when we are talking about the promotion of reading, we are working with this for the last, I think, 7 years. And we had a few different ideas that could be like a pre-story of the reading park in Lviv. And then I give the floor to Ola, who can say more about these initiatives.
Yeah, thank you so much. If we can switch to the next slide. Yeah, when we started with that initiative and general idea of Lviv becoming a city of literature, by the way, we had quite a harsh and boiling discussion if we a city of literature or astronomy or music or whatever it could be, all the list, you name it. And we digged quite far by the 16th century, I believe, together with my colleague Alexander Morris, who is here with us today, just to research all the authors and different literature traditions. We were looking for some symbol because Lviv has an old tourist city with a quite a good tradition with the hospitality, has a lot of different symbols, obviously lions, obviously the city profile. And when we were looking for someone or something which can basically be the symbol, we realized that we're gonna rather create one. This is how we came to the idea of Vasa, our literature mascot, which is a girl with a literature hat. And we created a number of cartoons, but also different stories. And we even have this, like a big doll walking through the city parade, for example. And the picture you can see on the, if you can come back to the previous slide, the picture you can see here is Basia on the tram. She was very popular among young children. And when we created a sticker pack, because most often question we were asked, like, what does it mean to live in a city of literature? And we responded with a very cute sticker pack. First of all, that everything, like reading in a tram, for example. This is exactly what she represents. In 2022, she made some new friends among the other cities of literature, especially in particular with Melbourne. And I have thought yesterday that she could be a great friend with Turlina as well. They have quite a similar characters. If we can switch to the next one. And here you can see that why that was challenging to pick one, because Lviv is a city of very complex literature history. And here you can see, for example, the first picture is Ivan Franko, who is one of the major Ukrainian literators, but also thinkers. he wrote about 50 volumes of different works. So he is basic for literature, Ukrainian language. The second one is Lemko, Ukrainian poet and our symbol of modernism, Bogdan Igor Antonich. And the last one on the bottom is Adam Mickiewicz, this is a very significant monument for Lviv, and he is a famous and one of the most significant Polish writers. Roman Inhardan, Bogdana mentioned a while ago, is also Polish, but writing in Lviv, but writing mostly in German. If we would go further, we would definitely bring some more Jewish characters, some Belarusian characters, Greek, Armenian, so that we had no choice but to create one which had in her head all the different alphabets of the world. And when she wakes up in the morning, she goes somewhere outside for adventure, and a big mess happens in her head, and that adventure starts. Let's go further. But back to our Literature Square project, and they met. At the end, you'll see how we married them somehow. Literature Square was our first dream before we even became a city of literature. And that was basically our very first project, even before we got the institutional form as any kind of NGO or the office. Because we were thinking that people have very different senses of space, color, everything. And what if we'll give them the initiative to create the comfortable space for reading in any place? So we were thinking about that specific of design, which is supposed to be transformative, which has to be like legibility, playful nature of this design, and also simplicity of implementation. Inexpensive materials and very, let's say, fair cost for amortization. And that project never came through in the form of idea we imagined at the very beginning. At the very first time, we created something like a reading park with a nice, blankets, music, saying, and just sharing books around and having literature reading for the youngest, but also for the older guys. The next one, please. Yeah, we went away far. We created a branding. We were trying to work with architects, but that was quite challenging in terms of cooperating with the city as well, because especially we were thinking about the central part of the city, which is overloaded with a lot of different activities. Next one. Yeah, so this is how we ended up. This is Basia, as you can see, and every kid could take a picture of themselves, that's me, as a kid with a literary hat. And we also merged it with the city towers profile, which is a symbol of Lviv. So Lviv, you can read, you can explore, you can learn, basically the same what we are doing here. And we created this mobile square, which was very harshly used over the whole summer, spring, and autumn season. We would bring different things for make people, kids comfortable, but not only kids, and organize writing classes, workshops, or any way of fun you can see. And this is a chair of one of those projects, so you can see our posters, which are linked with the cartoons too. So I think that the project we are working here as a great corporation is definitely a level up for what we were thinking and planning. And we have still a big bank of ideas we gathered over the last 7 years, and getting the experience, the cooperation, the methodology we already checked, and we were playing yesterday. We had a lot of fun, so we're pretty sure that we will come out with something absolutely significant. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing with us and literature within Ukraine and abroad. Now I would like to finally pass the word to Giulia Avanza from Fondazione, which is a research center located in Turin with great experience in conducting research activities in the field of literature and culture. Giulia, would you like to introduce us to the mission of Fondazione Sant'Agata and how it's going to contribute to the project?
Of course, with great pleasure. It's for our colleagues from Lviv Association of Culturologists, Fondazione Sant'Agata too, as its very beginning within a university, the University of Torino, where since the 90s, Professor Walter Sant'Agata started to teach economics of culture, one of the pioneers in Italy, creating around himself a group of young researchers that then in 2000 went out to fund the EBLA Research Center, an association first working in cooperation with the university, then also on its own, on international projects in various parts of the world. The first projects were in Syria, Egypt, Cyprus, so really an international dimension that eventually led to funding the Master in Cultural Projects for Development, a master to which Fondazione Sant'Agata is committed until today. In 2018, the association evolved within a foundation, which is, of course, Fondazione Sant'Agata per l'Economia della Cultura, where we are standing at the moment. In 2023, we also received the recognition of foundation in official relationship with UNESCO. And at the moment, our foundation works over 4 areas: the areas of cultural heritage, mainly, let's say, tackling UNESCO programs, in particular UNESCO World Heritage, but also intangible cultural heritage lists of UNESCO. The area of creativity, which is where we got to know in the past the 3 partners of our Reeplai project, our friends from Lviv and Obidosh, being creative city of literature, a UNESCO networking designation. Well, they took part to one of the programs of Fondazione Sant'Agata, which is the UNESCO Academy for designations and sustainable development, but also where we met Fondazione Sapegno. Over the past, we also embraced some special projects, both of capacity building and specifically directed to youth. So we have an area which is called Youth Empowerment for Sustainability, which has over the years worked with young people in empowering them to be active actors for the local development of their territories, especially with an attention in mountain areas, but also since Fondazione Sant'Agata was the association Centro Studi Sila Sant'Agata EBLA, we have activated an observatory 018, which means an observatory of the cultural habits of kids or children and youth until 18 years old, because we recognize that there's a lack of attention in Italy in terms of monitoring and knowing, understanding what children and families around them do. Every year we also collaborate with FAMU, Famiglia al Museo, to families at the museum to carry on these sort of observing activities. Of course, within our mission, there's also the willingness to expand the networking opportunities for our foundation, but also for the partners in Piedmont region and in Italy in general we work with. And this is where the idea of Reeplai came from a dialogue and continuous cooperation with Fondazione Natalium Sapegno, but also from understanding together that there was a space for leveraging on the good practice of the reading parks on the one hand, but also on exchanging good practices relating to fostering the love for reading, the love for books, the love for the diversity of understandings of the world that literature brings along with partners at the international level. I think I will stop here to leave more space to the rest.
Thank you very much, Julia. Would you also like to maybe give us a glimpse into what the kickoff activities have entailed?
Sure.
And how we'll spend the last 2 days working together.
Sure. As Martina was mentioning at the start, the project Reeplai officially started in November 2023. So we are quite early on in terms of implementation. although it seems like we started working on it a long time ago, because the project design actually took place more than 1 year ago with our friends from Lviv and from Obidos and from Fondazione Sapegno. But during these days, after a phase of distance work remote together, we finally managed to meet in Torino and in Morges. So we started out on the first day, on Monday, by visiting the Cavallerizza Reale, where last year Fondazione Natalino Sapegno, in cooperation with other local actors, has installed some reading games, an adaptation of the reading games, of the major reading games that are present in Morges, as Giulia Radin was mentioning before. We just explored that part and then gathered at Circolo dei Lettori in the afternoon to do some brainstorming on possibilities to adapt the concept of a reading part to the different contexts that will be chosen by our partners. Of course, one of the main things for the next weeks will be to select the books that will be at the center of the reading games, but also those books that will be used for literary related activities, those that have been mentioned both by Paolo and by Bogdana and Hola. So we will be looking into which works of children literature are especially suitable for being the ambassadors of our national literatures abroad. And we will be working into making them become the first plots for designing games. We then visited Morges yesterday, the reading park. We had the luck of enjoying wonderful weather and a beautiful view, I have to say, of the mountains surrounding Morges, in particular the Mont Blanc. But most exciting was also the reception we received, the welcoming by Morges community, which was present at its very best and large. So we had 2 classes welcoming us from primary and from secondary school, welcoming with the Hymn of Joy, the European hymn, but also with some popular Ukrainian and Portuguese music. The mayor was with us, the mayor of Morges. Morges is also associated partner to this project, and he introduced also the commitment of Morges municipality to bring along the development of a Reeplai project. We then had some animation activities implemented by local cultural operators who normally introduce the games of the reading park, but also promote some collateral activities for like spreading a bit of curiosity about the full reading of the books among kids that attend the park. And I think for the next, these slides, I think, tell us of like the long path we still have to follow. This is a maze, a literary maze. There's a long way to go, but I think we will get through. And yeah, this is a small group picture from yesterday. I think I would like to thank everyone for this opportunity to present.
Thank you very much, Julia, for sharing more about these last 2 days and for giving us a glimpse into the activities that you've carried out. So I think for today's session, this is pretty much it. Thank you very much for being a part of the webinar. We hope you found our discussion enriching, and we hope that you stay connected with Reeplai's progress and achievements through its dedicated account, Instagram account and website, which you can see here on the slides. Looking ahead, we will have 2 more webinars, one midway through the project and another one upon its conclusion, providing other opportunities for future and further engagement. Once again, thank you very much for being with us today, and I wish you all a very good rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.